Hey, Wajeh.
How are you?
Nice meeting you.
Meeting you. Come.
I think most of the readers may know very little about Gaza,
Yeah.
Israel, and Palestine. There's no substantial or dramatic change in the relationship between Israeli and Palestinians. So that's why I will come up with some very basic questions. Some of them maybe I have certain knowledge of, but some of them more complicated than I can think of. So you are a Palestinian journalist for NBC News based in Gaza. Also, you had your doctorate degree in Cairo. It's fantastic. I mean,
Thank you.
it's hard to think of a person in Gaza would go that far. And how did you come to the U.S. from Gaza? How will you go back to Gaza after?
First of all, I'm working with NBC. So one of my colleagues in NBC, he was a guest speaker in one seminar last year. So he discussed with IOP that they want somebody from the Middle East to talk about the Middle East situation. Not about Gaza, about the Middle East situation. So then they invited me. They sent me an invitation that if I wish to come to America and what I have to say to the students here in the university. So I received invitation from Harvard, the school, a fellowship from Harvard last year. But I couldn't leave Gaza, so I stuck there and I lost it. So I found this time it is a good opportunity to try once again. I wasn't sure that I'll find the opportunity to leave Gaza because the blockade around Gaza is difficult to leave.
Yeah, so blockaded by Israelis.
By Israel and by Egypt.
By Egyptians.
Egypt is in the border between the border of Gaza to outside.
That means the organization that invites you to come here, they orchestrated
just
this
to talk about this situation. So I agree, and we changed I put more about Gaza and Palestine in the seminars, just because in this area the people are, nobody knows a lot of things about the situation in Gaza and in Palestine, and most of them, as you said, that they know a few things about it. Numbers of killing and chilling and wars and that's it. So they don't know a lot of information. So for that I found this is important to be here and to talk with the students, to talk with the American community, to make connection with the Arab and Palestinian community here in America.
Talk with the Israelis and Egyptians at the border?
So first of all, when I received the invitation and I sent it, of course, they sent it to the American embassy in Israel.
All right.
And they set appointment for me for the interview, for the visa.
All right.
In the consulate in Jerusalem. And the relation between the IOP and the Israeli government, I don't know which kind of relation, maybe because of, there are many students from the University of Chicago they are using to go to Israel, so it's some kind of relation.
All right.
So they gave me a permission for 1 day to arrive to Jerusalem and make the interview for the visa.
So it's like exchange program.
Yes.
A little bit like that.
So it was difficult to me to leave because of Hamas. Hamas is not support. I'm not allowed to travel because I'm one of my opposition.
All right. I can imagine the complication there.
So they gave me permission for 1 minute. It's 1 minute only. The story of 1 minute, it is my name in the Hamas system, but I'm not allowed to travel. So I use all of my connection, all of my friends, all of my family members who belong or having connection with Hamas to allow me to go in this day to the embassy in Jerusalem, to the consulate in Jerusalem, to have the visa. So after a lot of connection and after 5 or 6 hours of waiting in the checkpoint there in the border, they make the system off for 1 minute. They print the permission and then they put the my name back in the system.
Yeah.
So this is the story. 1 minute permission, and 1 day permission from the Israelis at the same time. So I left to Jerusalem. I made the interview, and they told me that, and actually Hamas asked me when I come back from the embassy just to give them my passport and my ID and to guarantee that I'm not leaving, because they don't want me to leave.
Yeah.
So the embassy told me they want 3 days for arranging, the interior arrangement for the visa.
Yeah.
So I cannot go to Gaza with no passport.
Yeah.
Because the passport stayed in the embassy. So I decided not to go back to Gaza, and I stayed in Ramallah, in the West Bank. And I stuck there for 2 weeks, waiting for new permission. Actually, I asked the Israelis to go to Gaza. They didn't give me a permission.
Yeah.
And asked them, I want to go to Jordan. So I need 2 permissions, one from the Jordanian and one from the Israelis to leave Ramallah to the border, and one from the Jordanian to go in Jordan. The Jordanian, they gave me permission for 72 hours. And the Israelis, they gave me permission for 6 hours. So I tried to be in the same time in the border, and I get in Jordan. In that 72 hours, there are no flight between Chicago and Amman in Jordan. So I need to leave Jordan in those 72 hours. So I left to Cairo. And I stuck in Cairo for 2 weeks waiting for the arrangement here to arrange the apartment, to arrange the flight, and to be, the start of the program. So all this took to me 35 days.
35 days from Gaza to United States, to Chicago.
Yes.
All right.
When my students ask how, I told them I'm from the Middle East, so I came by camel.
All right.
35 days.
Right. So my second question is, could you tell us one story about Gaza to depict the real life of people in Gaza, and why Hamas finally emerged as the victor and expel the Fatah-allied officials and others, and what is the level of legitimacy of Hamas rule in the eyes of Gazans?
Yeah, the story of Gaza, it is like you build a building in the space with no connection with the ground, with the land, and you want to live in this building. It's exactly like this. We are very short in the small area between Israel and Egypt and the sea.
Yeah.
The Israelis are our enemy because the occupation. The Egyptians, they have problems with Hamas because the different political positions.
Yeah.
The sea is controlled by Israel. So we are in the middle, in the air. We cannot go to Israel, and we cannot leave to Cairo. We have any connection with the world. The only crossing, it is in Rafah port, crossing between Egypt and Gaza. The last year, in 2015, it's only open for 12 days. The people who putting themselves, the names in the Interior Ministry that they want to travel, something like 100,000. Last year is something like 10,000 they left Gaza. So 90,000 they stuck there waiting, and they are trying to survive. Some of them students, they have them scholarship or fellowship outside Palestine. Some of them families member, they have part of them families in the Gulf state or in Egypt and in Amman and many places. Some of them, they are patients and sick people, they want treatment outside. Some of them, they are talents, they want to go to show them talents. Some, all of those stuff. So we are in the air, we are in the space with no any connection with the world, and all the world want us to survive there. It is not only that. Out of the blockade, which are around Gaza, the closure around Gaza, the Israelis are punishing the Palestinians every day. We have between 3 to 6 hours electricity a day. The water is very bad water we have, and with no electricity we have no water.
But you depend on the water from Israel.
No, actually they refuse to give us water, and they refuse to give us electricity. Yeah.
So
we try.
Yeah. So what is written on Wikipedia is wrong.
Yeah. They refuse to give us
water.
Yeah,
I find this relationship a little bit peculiar because how could they give you all this basic necessity, and then Hamas throw the rockets in Israel? I find this relationship a little bit peculiar.
Yeah, I'll tell you about. But just we have no water, no electricity.
Yeah.
We have no fuel for the cars, and even for the electricity generators.
Yeah.
We have not enough schools. We have not enough clinics.
Yeah.
Everything is controlled by the Israelis. Only one crossing between Palestine and between Gaza and Israel. The Israelis allowed only the food to get in, and the support from the United Nations.
United Nations.
Yeah. So, and then they are talking about this rockets.
Yeah.
When people hearing about rockets, so they talk about Tomahawk or Crows or this kind of rockets. First of all, it's local made, it's handmade rockets.
Yeah.
And it's not happened that Hamas, I'm not Hamas, and I'm not defense Hamas, but it wasn't happened that Hamas start shelling Israel by rockets.
Yeah.
Everything which happened is after Israeli aggression.
Yeah.
The Israelis, they want to start war, to make aggression against us, and they want the Palestinians to, even not to say like this, defend themselves. This is kind of the defense which Hamas is trying to do. If you are shelling us, if you are starting war against us, we will do something.
Yeah. So let's make it straight. So the Hamas shelling, no matter what kind of weapon it is it more based on anger or more based on defense?
Based on defense.
Defense.
It's defense because they cannot start it because they know that if they start throwing rockets to Israel, they will answer by heavy force. So they cannot start. They didn't start any time. All the time, if there's killing one of them, assassinating one of Hamas leadership, attacking some places, they will show them that, okay, we'll punish you. So it's part of defense. It is not, but because of the media in the world, they are not knowing the fact, and they are controlled by supporter Israelism, Israel money.
Yeah.
So all the time they show us the Palestinian as they start the war, they do this. It is not true. And I'm saying that while I'm not from Hamas, and I'm very far from.
Yeah, so you.
But this is the fact.
Yeah, you criticize both sides.
Yeah,
Hamas, Israelis.
It is the fact that the Israelis want the Palestinians to be under the occupation, and they want to build the settlements, to build the apartheid wall, to put thousands and hundreds of thousands of settlers inside the West Bank and Jerusalem, and to attack Gaza and destroy it. Yeah. And they don't want even the Palestinians to say anything.
Yeah.
They want us to waiting in our houses being killed.
All right. So my third question is, how do people in Gaza view the Israel and American foreign policy, and what is the role of the Israel lobby group in the U.S.?
First of all, Israel is the Palestinian people enemy. It's very simple. It's enemy. It's very simple. Yeah. They are occupying our land. The occupation is the reason of this conflict. Since '67, this occupations continue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of decisions from the international community, from the Security Council, from the United Nations, and the Israelis think themselves over than the law, and they are over than the world decisions. So they continue with the occupation. Yeah. The Palestinians should defend themselves, and they should try to put end to this occupation. All the time the world say that the Palestinians is using violence. They are using weapons, they are using rockets against Israel. But even when the Palestinians stop to do that, and they start a peaceful resistance, like demonstrations against the wall, like demonstrations against the settlements and the settlers, like participation in the international community assassinations, like going to the United Nations asking for support, to start PDS for punishing the occupation. All the world starts saying, oh, what you are doing, you are against the peace. So what you want the Palestinians to do? This is occupation. And according to international law, according to decisions of the United States, that the people under the occupation, he is legally fighting. It is not only struggle, it's fighting. With all the kinds of fighting. Fighting the occupier. We are not doing that. We're asking for support from the world, but even BDS, the world and even the United States, this is terror activity. So they don't want the Palestinians to do anything, and in the same time they want the continuous of the occupation. United States all the time saying that we are supporting Israel, we are defending Israel, we are giving help to Israel to be the superpower in the Middle East, and they don't care about the peace. They want, all the time, they want a peace part of the show to say that.
Can I understand it like America, the majority of people in government in America.
I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about the government.
Government. The majority of congressmen or senators in the U.S. political system, they want Israel to control everything. So Israel would decide how much water to give to you, how much food to give to you. So it wants to have a single authority in the Middle East, and that would best serve the interest of the United States.
This is because the Israeli lobby here, having a lot of money, they control the media, they control the business on Wall Street, they control the candidates for the election because they are giving them money. So the result is more and more support to Israel.
The book written by Mearsheimer, the Israel lobby. So one of the features of the Israel lobby is very loosely connected. So how can a loosely connected lobby group have this huge influence on this Middle East policy for the United States?
I think, this is part of American policy, and it is not only the lobby. And it's a simple question. Can I make a Palestinian lobby in America? Can you make a Chinese lobby in America? Of course not. They will not allow you to do that. But Israeli lobby, it is in the Congress, the senators, everywhere, even in the White House. And we can see them around us, everywhere. So this is, by this lobby, the policy, the American foreign policy in the Middle East made, because they have the money and the media and the support. So for that, all the time I'm saying, the peace in the Middle East start from here, not from there. Not from the negotiation between the Palestinians and the Israelis. Decision in the United States that they want to end this conflict. For 25 years now, it was negotiation between the Palestinians and the Israelis with no result. The only result is that the continuous of building settlements. Israelis continue building the wall. Israelis continues stealing our water, stealing our things, and made a blockade around Gaza after 3 big wars in 6 years.
So one thing I learned about thing that holding back the peace is that the Israeli and Palestinian, they cannot agree where to draw the border. And the Obama administration called for a peace deal in which Israel and Palestine would adopt the pre-war 1967 borders with mutually agreed land swaps based on changing circumstances. So why is this Obama's plan fail at this moment?
It is not only Obama plan. It is, all the time the Americans talking about plans, but they are not practicing it. All the time we will find that the United States President start talking about this in the last year of his staying in the White House. Of course, this is all the time we are talking about. We want negotiation about border. We are not going to the negotiation before guaranteed from Israel to say this word, that this negotiation is for the re-walling of Gaza, of Israel from the West Bank and Gaza to 1967 borders. And it's mean that this is the base of the border. But when we're talking about exchange land, this is the differences between the people, the options, and the Palestinians and the Israelis. Because first of all, they put Jerusalem out of the West Bank. And with no solution in Jerusalem, it's no peace. It will not be any kind of peace or agreement. Because Jerusalem is the capital of the Palestinian state. And it is occupied territory. The Israelis occupied it in 1967. So they put Jerusalem out of the talks, and they start talking about West Bank. And they are talking about the exchange land in the settlements. Most of the settlement, it is not in the border with Israel. It is not close to the border line. It is deep inside the West Bank, and it is between the Palestinian cities. So, for example, when we talk about like this is the West Bank. The wall is like this now, and the settlements is here and here and here and here.
So it's like
they want to take it like this and build the Palestinian state here. Which kind of state it is?
So it's like interspersed.
We cannot change the facts in the ground, but you made the facts, and legally. Israel made the facts, and legally. They want to take something, this is the border with Jordan, and this is the border with Israel, this is the border with the Palestine, and the other side in the border, and this is something like 42%. They want to take 42% and give us some land here around Gaza in the desert.
So they occupy 42%.
And this is out of Jerusalem, They don't want to talk about Jerusalem.
This is Jerusalem.
This is Jerusalem. This is the West Bank.
Okay, West Bank.
And this is, if all this land is taken by the wall and the settlements, and they put settlements inside, deep inside, and they cut the West Bank for 3 pieces. So you can't build a state, cut it for 3 pieces in the West Bank, and the 4th one in Gaza, far away from here. And they said that, it is facts in the ground. You did this facts, and legally. You built these settlements. And you put settlers here. So if you care about peace, you must take them out. Because they are illegal staying in West Bank.
And this community and this harmony cannot be established between settler from Israel and Palestinians.
They are occupiers.
The occupiers.
Yeah, the occupiers.
You cannot you cannot rid away of this.
We can. We can. If Israel decide to leave all the West Bank and Gaza and leave them, they can be Palestinian. We have no problem.
So this occupier, this image, this tag, is deeply ingrained. People the
Israelis brought people from Brooklyn, and from France, and from Ethiopia. They know nothing about the conflict, and they told them, this is part of our land. The settlement, they give them free houses, they give them money, they give them there, of course, they're taking our water to agriculture, and so they made business. So if Israel want peace, and America, if they want peace, it's very simple. We are talking about 67 border. Does Israel leave? Separate the Palestinian and the Israel. They have another solution. We agree to make it one state. Tomorrow we are ready as a Palestinian to go to election in one state solution. Forget this border. We'll open all Palestine to be one state, one democratic state, and we are ready to go to the election. Stop talking about Jewish state. We're talking about democracies.
You cannot give up Jerusalem. So that's the basic line.
Jerusalem is, it's no peace with no Jerusalem. It's no way. This is one of the 3 holy mosques in the Islamic world. This is one of the second holy church for the Christian. This is occupied territories. Israel occupied it. And it's no way to be any kind of solution without Jerusalem.
Yeah.
So
just leave Jerusalem alone. Have a single state connecting the West Bank and Gaza.
Our demand, our thinking about building a Palestinian state in West Bank and Gaza include Jerusalem. So this is
tough.
This is the pace. This is the pace. This is the less thing we can agree about.
All right.
If they don't want it, it's fine. We accept that. We should build a unique democratic state, living in it, Israelis and Palestinians, and we are ready to go to election if they want.
All right.
Like South Africa.
Yeah.
Like United States.
Yeah.
We cannot cut this part of the land because of the settlers and because of Jerusalem and because of the border and because of Gaza. Oh, it's fine.
All right.
But we are ready for going to one-state solution, democratic state. We can go to election tomorrow, but they should accept if we win the election, we will control this state.
You have like 1.8 million people, the population.
No, what? No? 1.8 million in Gaza only.
In Gaza only?
Yeah.
All right.
We are talking about 6 million here.
Wow.
In the Holy Land.
And for the Israel, they
are 6 million too.
6 million too. So that's going to be 50-50.
So it's equal. Yeah,
okay,
it's
50-50.
They don't want to separate it. They don't want to separate it.
Yeah.
So let's build one state.
All right.
Actually, we are talking about 22% of the land, West Bank and Gaza.
Yeah.
All Palestine, historic Palestine.
Yeah.
We are talking about 22%.
Yeah.
If they don't want to give us this 22% to build our own state, okay, let's go to the one-state solution.
All right.
And we are ready for democratic election observed by the United Nations and by United States, but not by the United Nations. We ask observers from the United States to come and to observe the election.
Yeah, I think
if we win it, we will lead it. If they win it, we'll be a quiet citizen in Israel.
All right.
Yeah. But if anything changes in the future, this is the problem that for this. All the time they are talking about the demographic problem.
Yeah.
The Palestinians is too much in Palestine and Israel. And at the same time, they don't want to separate for 2 states, one for the Palestinians and one for them. And they are saying it's difficult to have all those Palestinians in there. So what they are planning for? They are planning for new transfer. And to push those Palestinians in Gaza and West Bank to leave.
All right.
And to replacing them by settlements and by settlers.
Yeah.
And it's happened twice in the history. In 48 and in 67 they did it. And they tried to do it last year in Gaza war in 2014. All of this shelling and damage and destroying the houses is just to let the Palestinians leave.
Yeah. So my next question is about 2 places in the world. One is the Middle East, one is Asia. And Obama has this pivot to Asia rhetoric. And also in the Middle East, you have the Arab Spring, and you have lots of conflicts in different places. So how these two, the U.S. policy in Middle East and pivot to Asia, what are the relationships between these 2 policies?
Of course, United States is important for them, all the East the Mediterranean, and south of Russia. They want to be there. It is not new, it's old plans.
Yeah.
They start the war in Afghanistan. It is not a terrorist. It is not after Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden. They start the war by the Mujahideen against the Soviet Union occupation to the West Bank, Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And they support this Islamic movement to fight the Soviet Union because they want to be there. They want to be in this area between China, Japan, Russia, India. They want to be there. So then after the change which happened in the Soviet Union and East Europe, they found themselves, they want more and more. So they start to thinking about East Europe. And they start to put the bases in Turkey and in Albania and Romania and many countries in the East Europe. When they're done from the East Europe, they start thinking about Asia. Actually, the United States situation is very bad in Russia. Forget about all of this relation with South Korea or with India in some places, or with Japan, but it is not the situation which America wants. Now the United States is afraid from Russia because Putin and Medvedev, they rebuild Russia, they rebuild the economic, they rebuild the forces, and now they are trying to rebuild the empire of the Russia to be outside the border. And they are afraid from China. They are controlling all the economic in the world. In one day, if China decide to destroy the dollar, they can just do it. Very simple. And they want to put pressure against Russia to be far from Africa. Because the target for the American is Africa. And the target for the Chinese is Africa. But United States want Africa by force, by scaling the people and the governments. China wants Africa by giving money and make projects and supporting them and let them being part of the international and the world economic and make a trade between China and cooperation between China and Africa. So this is, they are fighting them, but in peaceful, because the Chinese are smart enough to do what they want by them way, not by the American way.
Yeah.
So the American want to be there in around Russia and around China. They cannot find a way to do that because even they start the war in Iraq because they want Iraq to destroy Iran and them to occupy Iraq. And then they cannot do that, they destroy Iraq and they occupy Iraq. The clashes, the problems which happen in Syria, in Yemen, in Libya, everywhere. So they are losing in places. And I think this is maybe a very important point, that the next president, he will, forget about the name, Trump or Hillary Clinton or Sanders or any one of those jobs, they will be weak enough to do anything. They will be weak enough to do anything. They will not do anything. So it's good that they cannot change the policy right now, and they haven't a new policy which giving more places for America. So I think in the Middle East and in Asia, the plan of Barack Obama has failed, and it was no any result of it. The only result is that he get out of Iraq, and he killed Osama bin Laden, and he made the agreement with Iran. But the conclusion of that is nothing, because all the time you are attacking Iran, but after in the end you made a very good agreement for the Iranian. So I think the American policy in the Middle East and Asia fell down and with no result.
Right.
This is good for me,
Pivot to Asia, I mean, in many Americans' mind, is a joke. There's no substantial outcome in terms of this pivot. And it's hard for United States to be the world police.
Why they want to do that, actually? This is the question. The conflict between the imperialist ideas and the communist and the socialist ideas, it is. They tried it for 100 years. Okay, even if with all the mistakes which Soviet Union did, with all the mistakes with the East Europe and all this communist world did. But they cannot replace the legitimate idea of socialism by liberalism or by the globalism that they are trying to seal it for us. The people will not accept that.
Yeah. So my final question is about journalism, because I do my thesis on journalism. You should balance the political interest, the political pressure, and you should also balance your commercial interest. Those journalists are sandwiched between these two forces. Because of this, they try to cash in on their journalistic power. They can censor for money. They can extort companies or local officials. If you give me money, I will not report negatively about you. So what is the standard of journalistic professionalism in Gaza? Could you tell us one specific story about journalist life in Gaza?
First of all, the journalism in Gaza is very difficult situation because we are paying the price of this conflict. When the Israelis start war, they don't want the footage and the news to go out, so they are attacking journalists. Even they know they are journalists. They destroyed offices. They killed 17 journalists during the last war in Gaza in 50 days, and they don't want this story to get out. At the same time, we will have interior problems because we are under Hamas authority. Hamas too, they don't want the real story about them governing Gaza to get out for the world. And we are in another problem because we have the same in China, the newspapers and the TVs belong to the government. We have no independent media, so you cannot write what you want in the local media. And if you start writing in outside media, you will be part of the collaborator that you are writing about bad things in your country in foreign newspaper. It's the same like China. But maybe something else in Gaza that all the time we look to our work as part of the independent fighting. The defending of our people, the defending of our rights. So for that, we are continue in this work, even if it's very high price and a lot of problems and difficulties which we face.
All right.
So it is difficult. Actually, everywhere the media is not free. Don't believe that here. Because money, government and money, they decide in the policy of the media.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.